solving two-step equations. So this will be the first lesson for chapter 2 this year. And what we are looking at is solving equations for variables. So whenever you're solving equations, the main goal is to isolate the variable. Okay, so how we're going to do that? First thing is we're going to perform inverse operations to get the constant to one side. Remember, your constants are just your numbers or your terms without a variable. Okay, usually you are going to do this by adding or subtracting. But keep in mind, there will also be cases where you'll do this by multiplying or dividing. So step number 2, which we can cross out one of these blanks, you will divide or multiply by the reciprocal to get rid of the coefficient and isolate the variable. So pretty much what these steps are saying is, number 1, move your constants so you have variables on one side, constants on the other. Then you will multiply or divide to isolate the variable from there. So let's look at one example of this. So in example 1 here, we have 2x plus 3 equals 15. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and isolate the variable. So I'm going to do that by subtracting 3 to both sides. I am subtracting 3 because that is the inverse operation of adding 3. So on my left side, my 3's are going to cancel out, which leaves me with 2x equals 15 minus 3, which is 12. Now I'm going to perform inverse operations to get rid of my coefficient, which in this case is 2. So right now I have 2x, so that just means 2 times x. So to undo my multiplication, I'm going to use division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. That's going to give me x equals 6 as my final answer. You know you're at your final answer when the variable is all by itself. All right, the next thing is here is grouping symbols. So grouping symbols, those are your parentheses, things like that. Remember, so for PEMDAS, grouping symbols typically takes place first. When you're solving equations, grouping symbols take place last. So solving equations is kind of like the opposite of PEMDAS in a way. So for grouping, when you have a fraction, you are going to simplify your numerator and denominator separately. So for this fraction in particular, we have our variable in our numerator. So let's undo our denominator. So right now, I have y minus 4 all divided by 2 equals 10. So since y minus 4 is being divided by 2, my inverse operation is going to be to multiply by 2. Remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So both of our 2's in this case will cancel each other out, which leaves me with y minus 4 equals 10 times 2, which is 20. Now to solve for y, we need to isolate our variable. In this case, I have minus 4, so my inverse operation is going to be to add 4. In the end, that will give me y equals 24. Okay, this next bullet point here just says grouping goes first, which is just a reminder of our order of operations. So the last couple questions we have in the notes are 2 story problems. So I'm going to do the first one in the notes video here, and I'll save the second one for class. So let's read this and highlight key information. An online streaming company offers gift cards that you can buy rental plans with. You have a gift card for $30. The plan you select is $5 per month. How many months can you purchase with the gift card? Write an equation and solve it. So I highlighted both of the key pieces of info here. We have $30 in total, and we have $5 per month. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and define my variable. In this case, I'm trying to calculate how many months. So that tells me that months will be my variable. So I'm going to call that M, which equals the number of months. Could add that in there. Okay, so I know my variable is going to be months, and I know that it's going to cost me $5 per month. So for every month, it's going to cost me $5. So in an equation, I would write that as 5M, 5 times the number of months, which I'm trying to figure out how many months until I will equal the amount of the gift card, which is $30. From here, in order to calculate the number of months, I'm going to solve for M. Right now, my variable is already isolated, but it has a coefficient of 5. So since we're multiplying 5 here, I'm going to divide 5 as my inverse operation. That's going to give me M equals 6. But since this is an application problem, I do need to write my units with my solution. So I'm going to write 6 months. And that's my final answer for this one. All right, that's everything for 2.2. Please try the other problems on your own and come to class with any questions. Thanks for watching.